when would you use the word belongings? So this is just so that you understand why I'm questioning this. So prior to this, I was looking at the Nicola Bulley case, and after that, and just prior to this case, I was deep diving to the depths of the ocean of the Columbine massacre, because there's so much more to it than most people realise. Very intriguing. And I have read God knows how much of the file, the 10,000 page document. I can't even believe I've forgotten anything. I must have said it a million times during May, I think. However many pages it is. 10k it's called, isn't it? Yeah. And I think there's an 11k as well. But I've read so much of it. I was just hypnotised by it. Anyway. So I recall reading about people's, the deceased victims' stuff being given to their parents. I think they use the word property more, or clothes. I don't remember the word belongings being used. And this is obviously a personal thing. Some people might use that word in a different way, and people do use words in different ways. You'll see why this is relevant, but I want to look at it without prejudicing. It's better if I do it this way, just trust me, okay, rather than telling you what I'm talking about. You might already know by the title by the time I've written that, but so I just thought, well, how do people use the word belongings? Am I reading into this too much? Dallas apartment evicts tenant, throws belongings in dumpster. So in this case, it's all his stuff, because that's what I think of as belongings, my belongings. It's all the stuff I have, my stuff. So if you're a student, your belongings are all the stuff in your room. Flooding in Greece sweeps away personal belongings. My belongings were stuffed in trash bags after I was given hours to leave my home. So all their stuff was put in trash bags. Is that the same one about the... Have I just read that one? Yeah. And yeah, it's probably the same article. But tenants who lost belongings in fire, says gifts are all their... Well, you see, worldly goods. I mean, it can vary from person to person, obviously. Braham Aitnesser and his son... Wow, this is difficult. A lot of vowels there. Mouth. I don't want to say mouth. Carry belongings out of their damaged house. So belongings. Weeks after Rowlett apartment, fire residents still displaced without belongings. They seem to be all your stuff. And if you're a student, that's all the stuff in your room. Okay, right? So this is pre-recorded. Hold on. I'm going to just pause it. But Stacey Chapin refers, and that's Ethan's mum, refers to Ethan's, well, it says belonging here, but I'm sure that should say belongings. For us, it involves 2 vehicles, E's belongings. I'll just play the video. And so that's made me wonder about what I say in this video. So let's go back to the beginning. I think it's interesting as well that Stacey uses, I mean, it might not mean what I think it means. So his belongings, I think he'd moved in there. I think he was staying there. I mean, maybe he'd fallen out with his because belongings, unless Stacey Chapin uses the word in a different way, or unless where she's from they use the word differently, I would have thought she would have said his clothes. For us, it involves 2 vehicles, unless he happened to have a lot of stuff there, but they hadn't been there back at uni, or had they just, they weren't, no, they'd been there already a year prior to that, hadn't they? Hadn't been back there that long, and it seems, or his things, I think I'd probably say things, but if I was going to say belongings, I think I'd be talking about all his stuff. And it calls into question, obviously people move in with their boyfriend or girlfriend, and you know, we wouldn't necessarily know that, but we've been told he wasn't. But things that I've heard recently are making me wonder if he had decided to move in there. Or just play the rest of this. And he was living with Xana. But I don't think that the housemates wanted people to know that, because they're not supposed to have other people living there. And although in the big scheme of things that doesn't matter, when you're that age, and also when people like the police make a big song and dance about, oh, we're going to tell the university about your, noise complaint and all this, then stuff like that does become a big deal. And you do end up with people lying to the police, because the police have not made themselves seem very approachable. So they have created an atmosphere where they won't get the truth. And there will be unnecessary lies that are not, they're just like white lies, basically. Lies that wouldn't incriminate, wouldn't necessarily incriminate Dylan or Bethany, but that they might say because they've been, made to feel like they could be in trouble for. And they might think they would get kicked out for letting somebody stay there. But also, it's in the police and prosecution's interest if we didn't know that Ethan was staying there. I mean, I don't know about in the early days, but now it's in their interest, because otherwise that calls into question, why was Ethan staying there? And if you've been following Huda's channel, you will know that there seems to have been, Huda believes, and there is evidence to suggest that there was a fight that night, and from all the 4chan, which is a message board, all that conversation on there, assuming it's all genuine, I'm hoping that I will have a video out on that before or after I upload this. It all implies that there's been beef going on for a long time. And so also Harsh Reality pointed out something that I pointed out recently in a video, but actually it was on the end of one of my videos. So I know people often don't listen to videos all the way through. But I had questions. I have questions about because what it sounded like was that Ethan was behind the door and they couldn't get into the room, and Hunter tried to get into the room, right? Well, if he was behind the door, and assuming Xana, apparently, I don't know if this is confirmed, was the last person to be killed. I don't know how they know that. And assuming that Ethan didn't crawl over to the door after Xana had sadly passed away, assuming he was already at that door, that would mean that whoever killed Xana had to have got out a different way. And he points out, you can see on the, and I, yeah, he points out the snow, look, basically, there's less snow there, isn't there, immediately outside the window. But the snow doesn't go right to the end. Sorry, the lack of snow doesn't go right to the end. I don't know where the ladder was positioned exactly. Before, I said I thought this person had jumped onto a car roof. So I'm just looking at what cars, because I remember that, I remember obviously the cars out the front, but I couldn't remember which car was positioned where. Hold on, got some joviality out there. Let's get rid of that. That's actually a police car at the end. So there wasn't a car parked there, was there? I feel like there was a car parked there, but I can't find a picture of a car parked there. I know there were two cars. There's that red car. Whose was the red car? Was that Ethan's? Because I thought Dylan's was black, or was that her boyfriend's that was black? That big black thing that was, did she look like... She's a tall girl and she looks like a dwarf next to it. She looks dwarfed by it, should I say. And was there another vehicle behind that vehicle? Anyway, I digress. That doesn't matter where those vehicles were, because they certainly didn't jump onto those. So as you can see, whether there was a vehicle could have pulled up there, basically. As you can see. I'm just looking at... Yeah, definitely a vehicle could have been there. And it would need to be... it wouldn't have to be. Some could still jump onto... But nobody's jumped onto that one. I don't know when this picture was. It'd be interesting to know how much snow there was. I'd love to see a picture that's actually from that morning. Because if they were covered in snow, you'd be able to tell, wouldn't you? Which makes me think that they didn't jump onto that car because, well, it's still covered in snow. It would have to have been another car. Or there's a lot of kids who would jump off that without a problem, to be honest. So I don't know. But they wouldn't make a thud noise. And the thud noise would need to come off of a car. If that was the case. And there's a vehicle there now. You can see it, just about see it, can't you, on the right? And yeah, they've got the police car parked there again. But that one's not. But you could park closer than that vehicle's parked, couldn't you? You can even park around the side. And it depends if that camera really would have been able to pick up noise from the house. I know obviously there's people saying that noise is coming from Linda Lane. If it could pick up noise from the house and there was that third, I think that could have been somebody jumping off that roof onto the top of a car. And Harsh said about the ladder, but what I think about that is the reason they didn't take it, and I still think I think they should have done anyway, is that I think that Hunter or somebody was said they tried to, after trying to get in that way, they climbed up the ladder, because oh my God, that's crazy. Can you hear that? Oh, it's just irritating. I don't know if that was as loud for you as it is for me, but that's a motorbike going. Oh, I've done something that. Oh my God. What the hell? Where's that even come from? That's annoying. I can't believe how loud that was. I hope. Sorry. Annoying. So they're going back the other way. Twat. Sorry, that's distracted me somewhat. Now, where was I? Yeah, I mean, they wouldn't necessarily have moved the ladder, but I think they probably would have. And I just don't feel like somebody would have climbed up a ladder, because that would be too conspicuous. I mean, they could have done, but I feel like that wouldn't be a great choice to climb up a ladder at the side of a building. Whereas I think they came in some other way, but they got out that window because they realised they couldn't get out the other way, and they maybe didn't want to. They might not have known whether Ethan was actually deceased. But equally, he could have... Oh, God, this is horrible talking about this. I apologise. He could have moved in the way of the door. I don't know. I really don't know about that, because there's only one other option, and nobody wants to hear that. So, I've lost where I am now. Oh my God, now there's a child just repeatedly screaming outside. I'm going to listen back to this and see where I'm going with this. And also, I'm going to play for you. I've been listening through Harsh's collection, because he followed this right from the beginning, and he always sort of talks about anything that's come up and been sort of found out and discovered. And there's something interesting that he says about something Xana's dad said, but also obviously there's been the speculation about whether Xana's dad fixed a lock onto her room, and some people have said that was misquoted or misunderstood, but there does seem to be quite a lot of... I think there seems to be a lot of... It seems a good possibility that he did put a lock on her door, right? And we know that Xana's mum said that. And then I feel like it's been... I don't know who's doing it, but it's been then... I feel like it's been made out that wasn't the case, and I don't know if somebody's playing with the narrative or why that has been changed. But we know things like that. What Xana's... Loads of things... All of Xana's mum's interviews have been wiped. I did find one did manage to find one, and she sounds like such a genuine person and so concerned and really trying to suggest things. I've said this before. I was really pleasantly surprised hearing her mum, actually. But now what I need to do next is play you what I heard Harsh saying on, this is one of his very first, one of his really early videos, so right back, it would have been maybe beginning of December, maybe end of November.
But now her father has also come out and he has said that, among some other stuff, and I'm not going to go too in depth in what Dad was saying, because it was, some of it was a bit weird, if I'm honest. But he was talking about how strong his daughter was and all this kind of stuff. But look, the guy's going to be going through the mill, so we can't be too hard on him. But he did say that his daughter had gone to him and said that she had had a fight with a male in the week before, approximately a week before the murder. Now, it would appear by the words, and I'll read this. It said she was always with herself, but she had shared about her fight with some guy with her father a week before her death. So Jeff has been guessing that the murderer might be the boy she talked about. So the investigators will probably speak to the boy before concluding. So I would say that there's a potential there that they know who it is. This might have already been spoken to, and it might have been one of the Jacks.
And this is off of the message boards on 4chan, just to give you an idea that there appeared to be, assuming these are genuine messages and they are from the people in question, then this is quite telling, potentially. And fair warning, there is some foul language, and when I say that, it's using words that I wouldn't normally say, or a particular word I wouldn't normally say, but I am going to on this occasion, because that is what it says here, and I'm going to read it verbatim. So whoever wrote this wrote it at 2:30 in the morning, approximately, on a Monday morning, a school day no less, on the 12th of December last year. You can see, I'm going to try that again. You can see the King Road house from Dee's Sigma Chi room. Once that third floor light turned off, they did it. 19 minutes total, walk included. Talked about this shit at Bishop Kelly and Sigma Chi. At Bishop Kelly and Sigma Chi. Al, which I think is actually Loach, I think that's David Loach. So I'm just going to say Al, but I do believe it is supposed to be David Loach. And isn't he the one who was interviewed on Truth and Transparency? So Al and E, obviously, supposedly Ethan, got in a fight that night. Xana allegedly talking shit. Al had problems with Maddie also. This shit been brewing since Fall Rush last year. So Rush, I know, I thought that was like a recruitment thing, because you'll hear me say this again in another video. Steve Gonsalves said something about the college don't want to deal with this, not with them, with Rush being on, right? And I looked through, I tried to find out what Rush was, and if anybody'd like to fill me in a bit more, but I think It seemed like some kind of recruitment thing when, not recruitment, open day? I don't know. What's rush, guys? Tell me, explain in your words what it is. Anyway, last year, so 2021 presumably, cunts went quiet on social media for 2 weeks before and after the deed. B's mum, and B, I believe, is David Berriokoa, who is friends with David Loach. B, and they call him Berry. Berry's mum is a paralegal, so he knows not to say shit. Well, I suppose that's true. Kids don't always know not to say things. I assume people do because of how much I've read about needing to keep your mouth shut. But even if you're innocent, because your words will be used against you when they have been taken down in evidence. I find it weird that Miranda, sorry, but I need to say this, Miranda rights could be used against you. Not they will be used against you. That sounds really bad. Like they will. We don't give a shit. We're going to use them against you. To be fair, it's pretty much the truth. Al cleared his social media. So it seems like if there was beef, it was long-standing beef. So I'll probably leave that video there. I just got a nagging feeling in the back of my brain that there's something else I wanted to add to it. So if a mini video pops up, that's probably the thing that I'd forgotten. So I might just have to put it out on its own. But I cannot remember what it was. But yeah, I have created but not yet put together a video that does include this. Interesting. I'll just let you know that there's some talk of steroid use as well, and that's quite intriguing to me. Very intriguing, to be honest. But I will leave that for the other video. So that's all for now, folks. Yeah, I told you there's probably more. So yeah, even more. So the other thing is, right, about this masked individual, right? If Ethan was living there, then there would have been more men in the house, assuming he hadn't fallen out with all of his friends, assuming some friends, typically when a couple of people fall out, some people are still friends with each of the people or even take sides. And so there would be more males hanging around the house. And we did see a lot of males there. I mean, those two boys answering the door, that might have been because Ethan was actually living there even then. Who knows? I don't know. But so that could have been another reason why Dylan didn't react. But then they have it. You see, they could have twisted it. They're saying that she's in a frozen shock stage, and that's why she didn't react. But she could have said to them, they could have said, what did this person look like? And she could have said, I don't know. And they're like, well, why don't you know? Well, his face was covered. Well, do you mean he was wearing a mask? And she might have just not been sure whether he was, because the weather was cold. And if there's a lot of people coming and going in that house, she might have thought, and it might have been the case, it might have not even have been the killer, because she hadn't heard any noise at that time, had she? I mean, it's not in the PCA, but she hadn't heard anything at that time. So this person may not have been, they literally could have been somebody to do with Ethan or to do with anybody living in the house. And it might have been somebody who was just coming or going, or even just going into the kitchen. But they may have been either coming or going and still wrapped up from being outside, or wrapping themselves up before going outside. I have heard that said. I think it might have been Harsh again that suggested that. And actually there are people that dress, oh, not you, dress like that, put their scarf around their mouth. And the police might have turned it into him wearing a mask, or she might have just not been sure whether they were wearing a mask. Have they actually said it's a COVID mask? Have they said that in so many words? And has she said that? Yeah, it'd be so interesting to actually hear her actual words, not a report written, because I've seen reports written by the police, and they have changed things that I have seen at a crime scene, and their description of it is not what I see at that crime scene. I've seen the video of the crime scene and I've seen the report, and they do not match. So they can change things to their own convenience, and they want this to be a sighting. It might not even be a sighting, and she might not have wanted to say that she might have been like not known what to say about the fact that there were more people there, because they probably said don't say we were there. So it might not have even been whoever killed them. And again, they may not have even been, it may not have happened in the house. But I'm just saying this could explain. And as I've said before, I lived in a party house, and I did live with guys actually, and there were people that I didn't know. There could be people that I didn't know the next morning after a Saturday night at my house. So, but they're saying that she's in a frozen shock stage, and that might just be them saying that, because that would then be very odd for her to be in a frozen shock stage when she hasn't actually seen anything happen. And if she was that worried about a person being in her house, then she would have called the police. But she's clearly not that worried about someone being in her house, which implies that there are sometimes guys in the house. So, and she may not have really known whether they were wearing a mask. She may not have been close enough. They may have looked like they were dressed something like one of these people. That's it. It's definitely it. I'll see you next time. So this is something which may have relevance and may have absolutely nothing at all to do with what happened later on that night, or later on that morning rather. Just because something happens here doesn't mean it relates to something that happened subsequently. The unfortunate's a very inadequate word. Yeah, the tragic events that occurred following this, but still, we may as well look. This is from Beyond the Pale, and she made some really great observations here. So I'll let her speak.
These two girls are also incredibly sus to me. This whole thing, all the dynamics here. So the minute he goes off,
So what I'm interested in is why. So from my experience of a very misspent youth, a very misspent extended youth, to be honest, and a lot of time spent outside nightclubs after hours, the somewhat excited way that they go over to that left-hand corner, and they look like they're looking into a car park. They're looking at something that's happening, and my money's on a fight, to be honest. I mean, it's either a fight or it's people having sex. I cannot see what else. It's something. They're looking at something that's occurring. It's something physical that's happening. They're watching something. They're not going to be watching a drug deal. They're watching something occurring. I would have said they are being to be watching people having sex. That would be weird, and they would be doing it too blatantly. So my assumption is that there's a fight, and it's not necessarily with Ethan and somebody else, but I can't think what else it could be that would merit, that would be exciting enough for them to go over, but not too exciting that they feel that they need to take some action about it. So it's something that it would increase your dopamine levels, but it wouldn't cause you to have to take any action, because things like that do happen after hours. So please tell me if you can think of anything else. I'm definitely ruling out drug deal. Nobody's going to go over and watch a drug deal. I don't know, but let's have a look anyway.
around that corner, these two shoot off in the opposite direction with a purpose, but they don't follow him. Right, he's gone. Now watch these two. Okay. Right, watch him up here. Yeah, look. Off. Okay, so that is... there's more to follow, a lot more to follow. Now, these two hang out here for a bit, but they move over to here. I'll see if I can scoot forward. I never see those two girls at this point. I've never caught them as if they've gone round the grub truck and back across that way. They've gone somewhere else. Let's see if I can just... I always go too far. Now, the vest guy is gone for ages.
Oh, I just...
Right, hang on. Did I miss it?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I just skipped it forward then. He can't keep still, can he, this guy with the... I think people have said they thought that was David Loach. I think she's... sorry, I don't know her name. Pale and Beyond, I'm going to call it, because that's what it says on her handle. Is that the right term? He can't keep still. He's either anticipating something, or he's taken something, or both. And at the beginning, he's standing. So if you look at the top left-hand corner, probably lots of you have been watching this anyway, but you remember he's standing, and I think he's looking, waiting for somebody, and he's got his phone in his hand, and maybe he's contacting, where are you, or where are they, whatever. And I think he's in that way because he's waiting for somebody. He's waiting for some people to come. But then, interestingly, when Kaylee and Maddie come, he doesn't engage, does he? His friend does. But he, at that time, can't keep still the entire time. And I know it's cold, but not everybody's moving like that. And I don't know, I feel I could be because it's cold, but I'm sensing it's something else.
I think Joe's turned up, look. So he's arrived. Still gone. Don't know where the girls are. Did I miss them? I'm just going to keep it playing because if I try and skip forward, I miss things.
Just saying.
So
could be cold though.
We're now going to get to a point. He's waving at someone, but they're going to move sort of to here. Here we go. So they're going to move here. If anyone else has seen the girls go that way, let me know. But I've never seen them. So still waiting for food. Best guy's gone here. The other two girls are elsewhere. It just makes me wonder where else they could have gone. Right, here they are. They're back. So they did not go around the corner.
Something's happened and they're excited. Something's happened and they're excited about it. They can't wait to tell them. That was what... Let's have a look at them arrive again.
Right, here they are. They're back. So they did not go around the corner. But they're about to. So now they're going to follow Muscle Vest Guy. And you see they sort of linger here, which makes me think there's something just going on around the corner. We do know there's a car park. Now they're watching them. See, look, they linger. They linger there. They're watching. And now they walk with purpose. Now we know there's a car park around here. Are they meeting in a car? Are they doing something in a car? He's gone to check it out. But I think you'll admit there is most definitely something very interesting going on, and it's far more interesting than anything Hoodie Guy ever did, in my opinion. And it gets worse. So Joe's ordering his food. We've got number 9 on his lonesome. That's number 8. Back and forth. Keeping an eye out, making sure no one's coming, I would hazard a guess. Now he's going to come back to number 9. So if it was, the naughties, he wasn't gone particularly long. I'd love to know what's going on around that corner. So we're going to have a quick word with number 9.
I'm trying to remember who somebody said was Jack Katovich. Was it one of these two? Or was that somebody else? I can't remember.
And watch, he goes as well now. Off they go. And he breaks into a run. There he goes. Lingers there again. So what? If they were heading off to a car, he's not gone for long enough. Why did...
Interesting thing about Jack Katovich is that he has a family member in Eugene, Oregon. And he also has family who have lived or are living, I can't remember which, in St. Marie's in Idaho. And St. Marie's is where Brett Payne's from. That's where he caught that wolf, where he killed that wolf. And he's from, or either where he killed it, or it says in that article, a St. Marie's man. He's from St. Marie's.
They keep lingering here. It's like they're looking at something. I don't think people would be doing naughties on the street, and I'm not sure they'd be doing a naughty deal on the street like that either. So now...
I think it was an older person, somebody who would be around the same sort of age as Brett Payne's dad would be.
we've got, I think, sorry, I need these people to move out the way. How dare they wait for their food? Yeah, number 8 and number 9 come back without best guy, without the girls. Would love to know what you think is going on. Now, I think it's not long before Kaylee and Maddie arrive, so he's just hanging out now, waiting for his food.
Oh, I've just thought, is it Katowice or Katowice? I think it might be Katowice.
He's sort of lingering in the background. No sign of the others. Right, here come Maddie and Kaylee. Now watch him. He looks at them. He's seen them. He doesn't. Right, he looks back at number 8. Looks again.
Now, see if that was Ethan. Watch how he sees them and then he's looking back. But then again, maybe he's looking back because he's looking for his friend, and he looked round and his friend had gone the other way, and his friend, whoever that is, whether it's David Loachy or whoever it is, seemed to walk that way when he saw Kaylee and Maddie. I mean, there was a party the night before. Who knows what happened there?
Watch him. He looks at them. He's seen them. He doesn't. Right, he looks back at number 8.
I don't know if he is looking at number 8 or if he's looking over in that direction as to what's happening in that car park. Because, you know, if he knew that, if that was anything to do with Ethan and Xana, obviously just speculating, but if it was, and he's seen them, he's connecting the two. And he didn't look like he turned all the way round to look at number 8. He was looking more at the car park. I'll rewind it again just to see.
Watch him. He looks at them. He's seen them. He doesn't. Right, he looks back at number 8. Looks again.
Maybe he is. I don't know.
Doesn't call Maddie over. Goes back to number 8. Says something.
Definitely is now.
Looks again. And now he calls Maddie over.
So to me, that behaviour means that that other guy has got more to do with them, those two, than this guy has. This guy's more the neutral party, I think. And that, you know, he's looking at that guy like, have you seen who's here? Like, as in, you'll be interested to know who's here. Because if it was all to do with him, I'm not sure that he would. It's, whatever it is, could pretend, to me it seems that he knows that there's a reason why that other guy would be interested that they were here. And I don't think that guy looked like he was expecting, this guy, I don't think he looks like he was expecting them to be here, personally.
So we all knew he called Maddie over, but again, I'm going to play that again for you. Oh, see, I'm sorry, jumping around. This is so delicate. See, it's the way he's, see how he's craned his neck, and he says something to him, look. Looks again. Now he calls Maddie, right, pausing it. Now, again, the footage that keeps giving, I just always focused on.
I just feel like that hand gesture and everything, that's more of a matey, friendly thing, not a somebody that you've hooked up with thing. That's somebody who's a platonic friend, I think.
The fact he called Maddie over, but when you look carefully, the minute they arrive, he spots them. Number 8 has turned his back to him. He goes to say something to number 8, looks again, goes back to number 8, says something, looks again, pauses, then calls Maddie over. Okay? So now we've got Maddie going over. He doesn't even greet her. He just hangs back now. Doesn't say anything. No hellos, no nothing. And Kaylee's ordering the food. They're having a chat. He hangs back. No sign of the others. Still gone. Still gone. And now he goes back to number 8 and makes...
That is weird how she walks through the middle of them. Like, why did she not walk the other way? Maybe it could just be because she's pissed, but a drunk as in not pissed as in angry, pissed as in drunk. UK pissed. I don't know.
The sleep motion. There we go. So, interested immediately, says something to number 8, cranes his neck to see them, calls Maddie over, has a chat with Maddie. The minute she's gone, goes back to number 8, makes the sleep motion. Now, he's off again, look. Number 8 is off again. Ah, right, here you are. Now, pausing. So, the minute Maddie and Kaylee arrive, that happens, then he goes off to find the others who are on their way back. Now, this could just be, there's something going on, but...
I keep thinking, conspiracy theory warning, that these two in the middle, jumper guy and the girl, I keep thinking that they're undercover police. They're probably not. I just keep thinking they're putting on a bit of a show. I don't know.
Could be the naughty thing that I was saying, the DRUGS things going on, but can all of this stuff be coincidence? Is there something going on behind the scenes? It's like they're here, and you see his arms go up as if to say, where have you been? They're here. That's purely speculation and just a narrative that could be possible. So here they come now. Watch.
And the guy who's barely he's like in his running gear, basically. I mean, there's two possibilities with that. Either it's some kind of thing to do with, and I just thought, is it some kind of hazing thing where, you've got to wear barely any clothes? I mean, that's one possibility. But if he's in the same year group as these guys, and they're in the same group year as sort of Maddie, then they're not freshers, and so I wouldn't have thought so. So the other possibility is he's taken something, because they always say that's something to look out for, like wearing less clothing, in terms of your body. You're warm. You're warm if you're taking certain drugs. You're very warm.
The girls. Looks at Maddie and Kaylee straight away. Did you see that? I'm going to play that again. I'm probably going to go back too far.
The way they walk back, that just reminds me of somebody who's been watching a fight kind of thing. Is she going to play again? Yeah, I think she is.
So... we are focusing on Maddie and Kaylee. Maddie. He steps back. The minute she comes over, he steps back. Okay. Little chat. Now watch when the girl with the red rucksack approaches number 9. The first thing she does is look over at Maddie.
I wonder if that guy sort of hung there thinking he was about to speak to Maddie, but she did not look at him.
And Kaylee. Look, he's saying something to him, and what can he possibly say in that space of time.
What it could be that he said, like when he went to do that sleep motion, is that guy could have been like, she didn't even speak to me kind of thing, and he could have been like, oh, she's tired kind of thing. It could be, I don't know, there maybe I'm reaching there, I don't know.
It could be anything, but this is some chain of events. Where are they? Here they are. Right, now watch the girl in the red rucksack look towards Maddie and Kaylee the minute she rocks up in front of number 9. Could be nothing, could be something. Now watch again. These two are doing something weird. Right, she's off. Look at her. Look at her go. And now she's following. Back in that direction. Gone again. Now the next interesting thing that happens after these two girls...
One thing I don't understand about, I was also listening to Harsh Reality saying that Joe Vidot says that they didn't pay for their food, but don't you have to pay for it when you order it? I would have thought you just pay for it when you order it. I would have thought Kaylee had just paid for the food.
Gone shooting off around that corner is the next group of girls, and guy in a cream hoodie turn up, and that's when more interesting things happen. So we've got Maddie and Kaylee here. I personally think hoodie guy doesn't want anything to eat. He's just waiting to walk them home because they live near each other, my opinion. Now, we all know Kaylee.
Right, I'm going to leave that there, and I'm going to put this into the description so you can watch the whole thing if you want to, if you haven't already seen it. That is definitely, she says, the end of this video.